Every day, more Americans watch the Food Network than any news network, and it's raised our expectations for quality of food. About 2 years ago, I had this amazing salmon at one of those 4-hour dinners, and it was so good, I literally wanted to eat it with my fingers. I went home to cook it, and it turns out you need new equipment to make food like this. I tried what was out there, but none of it worked for me on a daily basis. So we decided to create that ultimate cooking device. I give you the Palate Home Smart Grill. It cooks perfect food every time. I'm Eric Norman, co-founder, CEO, joined by Jim Reich, CTO and co-founder, and John Yu, mechanical engineer. Let me show you some food that we cooked on our prototypes. Here's that same salmon. I can cook it anytime I want now. Eggplant, it's crispy, creamy, crispy duck breast, and this pork loin, which nearly sent our development chef to tears. And this guy's worked at more than one Michelin 3-star restaurant. Now let me show you what it's like to cook on the grill. Let's say you want to cook a steak. You come over here, you take your steak, you put it on the grill, like so. You pull up the iPad app. Can I get the camera over here on the app, please? And then you're going to be able to cook in just one touch. Oh, it's on. OK, to me, I see the monitor. One touch, and you can see here that it's going. And I hit the wrong button. But it starts, and it's timing, and it's counting down, and it's executing a precision control. Then what you do when you're ready to eat is you sear it and plate it. We're going to demonstrate that now here with another steak that we prepared in advance. What it's doing now is browning the surface. That's the second part of precision cooking. And until you do that time, your time is actually flexible. So this time I mentioned to you, that's actually the minimum. But if you need another hour to go finish up that complex side dish, or maybe your baby is crying, just take care of that, and then come back and sear it when you're ready. All right, so let's say you wanted to make some adjustments. You'd click here, click where it's medium rare there, and this is going to take you into the setup screen. And then you're going to be able to do, make some changes to it. And if the software works, I will show you. Here we go. Here's the steak you can see, and you can change. Is it what type it is? Is it medium rare? And for advanced users, you can go in and actually specify, is it grass-fed? What's the grade? Because that lets us cook to the optimum result for your steak. And in the future, we'll be able to get that data directly from the ranchers. Imagine it's Neiman Ranch and having it nailed perfectly. OK, can I get the camera on this? We're going to cut this open. Take a look. Look at that. It's going to be medium rare, side to side, top to bottom. Very nice looking steak that we made while giving a presentation. Now, there's lots of ways you can use a Palate Grill to be a better chef. Let's talk about onions, a staple of many basic dishes, right? But the best chefs spend months learning to cook onions, and they prepare them completely different for every dish. So if you pull up onions, what you can do is raw and spicy if you want to make fajitas and get that bite to them. Or you can do caramelized if you want to do a burger, spread them, really pull the sugars out. And this is only possible on a software-controlled precision grill. Finally, let's say you don't have your iPad, you just want to fry an egg. You can throw it in there and just start cooking with one twist of the dial.
OK, so how do we do all these wacky things that Eric's been telling you about? It all depends on modern concepts of food science, in particular temperature. When people talk about something being done or medium rare, what it really turns out to be is it's a particular range of temperature. It's all the maximum temperature the food has reached. This sounds really strange to people who are used to cooking, because when you cook in a normal method, you're throwing tons of heat at the food, and you're trying to snatch it off the grill before the outside burns. But with the Palate Grill, could we have the presentation, please? Our presentation? Thank you. So, with the Palate Grill, we gradually raise the temperature up to the target, which is exactly the doneness you want, and we hold it there. And at that point, cooking stops. You can just walk away and come back and know the food is done just the way you want. So why have people not done this yet? Well, because the tools up until today have not been up to the task. If you look behind me, you see what a regular premium grill looks like on a thermal camera. You notice those white areas? Those are 150 degrees hotter than the cool areas in the center. And it only takes 4 degrees to overcook a steak. So we have to fix that. So we started off with a top-to-bottom thermal redesign of the grill, the surface and the heating elements. We then added the most accurate sensors available. And we paired that with dynamic models of the food so that we can infer what the temperature is inside the food without sticking in a thermometer. And then you saw those fluctuations there. We tamed those using a predictive control algorithm, which I actually borrowed from work that I used to do on spacecraft. And it worked. If you look behind me, you can see what our grill surface looks like. It's within a few degrees all across the surface and holding steady. And that's how you get perfect food every time.
And thanks to that precision, we can create a community like never before. You can send and replicate recipes exactly because the sensors adjust, and this is very exciting to our community of chefs and professional chefs. And thanks to this guy that sold over $1 billion a year of electric grills, consumers are comfortable with the form factor. That's one reason we chose it. Retailers have shelf space and buyers, and it makes it easier for adoption. We are tonight going to select 4 people to join the team, including visionary Don Norman, for dinner. If you're interested, please come sign up on the website and come by our booth for some samples that we're making. You'll really love the cooking. We're Palate Home, and we hope we've made you hungry.
All right. Judges, we want to jump in?
How much does it cost?
We're looking at a retail price point of $4.99 or less, and we've created the margins to give us a hefty margin at that price point, even through retail.
So I have a question about your users. I imagine you've gone through a few iterations of this before coming to this beautiful version. Are your users like fanatical about this? Is this a problem that they really want solved?
People want better food. We've had a couple people here come up to us and just beg us to release this as quickly as possible. To have amazing food anytime you want it, have it be easy to make, is kind of a holy grail.
So George Foreman Grill is not cutting it.
Well, that was before chefs were celebrities, before the Food Network. And at its time, it was quite good. You'd plug it in, and it's on, and you put a hamburger on. But now what we want is French Laundry, or at least Delfina. We cooked for one of our neighbors. He had chicken, and he said, "This is Delfina chicken." Can you imagine being able to do that at home, anytime?
Well, who is your target user? I mean, how would you identify your ideal customer?
The primary users that we want to start with are these food enthusiasts that cook all the time and want the best tools. They shop at Williams-Sonoma. They buy the best meats. That's the core group. And then people who value convenience but want to cook anyway. They're already cooking for their family. They're going to really appreciate this. And when their foodie friends tell them they can make great food, they're going to go. And ultimately, the larger market is really just the people who are too busy. You're doing takeout now, and you tried cooking once, it didn't work. You're going to really love what you're able to do with the Palate Home Smart Grill.
I apologize that I'm your judge because I have no idea how to cook. But maybe that's exactly this. This is delicious. What would be involved? What are exactly the steps? Like I go to the store, I buy a piece of steak. Then what do I do?
That's right. Today, you have to go to the store and buy a piece of steak. In the future, we'll know that you cooked one yesterday and you need to reorder, and we'll help you with that. You go and select it. You're probably following a recipe, and that'll tell you it's strip steak. So we've made this match the recipes, strip steak, and then let's say it's steak au poivre. There's some sauce you'd make. You put the steak over here. I guess if you've never cooked before, you might not.
I have no idea what you're saying. Like literally, I have a steak and I have your device.
Yeah.
Is it so easy that even I can make this?
One touch, you can make that. All you have to do is be able to put some salt on and grind pepper. I think we put some oil. It's got some oil. We'll run you through it in the app. It'll be no problem. You can make this steak.
It's very good, by the way. You guys are all chicken.
Can you quickly tell me about the design and why it looks the way it does and the features of it?
Because it's beautiful. We wanted this to be something you'd be proud to have on your countertop, and we know design is important to the people we're talking about who shop at Williams-Sonoma and Apple Store and Target. We've seen this work for companies like Nest and Jawbone, where they come in and they're able to have a premium product, and the experience is wonderful, and you just want it. You just want to own it. And it's almost secondary that it cooks you amazing food, and it's easy to use. But we want it to be sticky, and we want people to have it out and use it every day. That's why we made a beautiful design.
How long before, what's the manufacturing process? How long are you in that if I want to buy one tomorrow?
Yeah, it seems like a pretty big gap between your prototype and the model. Where do you stand?
Sure, it's not unusual in hardware development to break out some of the key parts, so we've done that. This is our functional prototype, which cooks the quality of food that we're looking at, and that'll get better as we move further. If you were to open it, it's our electronics board driving it. It's our sensors. This is the visual prototype and mechanical prototype. It has some of the mechanisms we've designed. John has been involved in that, and he, in his previous role was helped his company scale up to volume, designed for manufacturing. So that's the next step, is put them together. And we'll be crowdfunding at that point. We're being a little conservative. We want to have it all ready together in one package so you can see exactly what it's like. So that's coming soon. And if you're interested, please sign up on the website. And if you want to bring a steak, we'll let you try to cook it.
How defensible is the technology here? I mean, if KitchenAid or someone is watching this right now and they're saying, wow, if these guys are doing well, they're going to go rush to build this. Is there something? What's the secret sauce here that no one else can do?
Okay, so there are several patents on the technology. In particular, things like our inference technology, know what's going on inside the food. But this isn't just a matter of making a little tweak here and there. I mean, you saw what the old ones look like. Basically, to get it right, you have to get everything right. The thermal design, you have to get the control algorithm right so it never overshoots. You have to get the inference algorithm right, and that's a big shift for these guys. They're used to making the hardware do what they want. But this kind of cooking principle means you have to think about what's going on inside the food where you can't actually even sense it. Even if you put a thermometer in the food, there are other parts of the food at other temperatures, and maybe there are 2 steaks on the grill. So there is a lot of technology behind this. I actually, previous to this, I was working in aerospace, and I also built the world's largest sensor network, sort of perfecting a lot of these inference technologies, and I'm bringing all of that here.
Is the processing and comparison of the data, does that happen on the device, or does it happen in the cloud?
The control part of it happens on the device. At the back end is handling things like recipes and personalization, and we can do some machine learning here. So maybe we find out that most people actually like medium rare at 134 instead of 132. We can make the defaults actually adapt to what people want best.
Where do you see it fitting in on the never cooked before versus somebody who is master chef in their own home?
We've seen, our development chef was a great example of how a very talented chef can find uses here. He was really blown away by what he calls low purge, which means loss of moisture. So everything is very juicy and there's a lot you can do. Those people are going to test, they're going to play with the new equipment, and then they're going to tell their friends who aren't cooking as much, hey, this is great, you can make great food with it. So it might be a while before someone would, the first adopters are going to be those who are cooking all the time, but our large market are the other folks.
And I can cook fish in this?
Fish is amazing. Low temperature salmon, you saw the photo. We cooked all of that on this prototype grill.
Do you have any awareness of altitude? Because recipes change at different altitudes. Can you actually adapt to what the locale is?
It shouldn't be a major effect here because we're actually detecting the amount of sort of thermal mass and the amount of heat that's going on. That's actually why this is contained. Not only does it prevent any spatter in the kitchen, but it actually means we control all the heat in and out, so we really know what's going on.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. You guys did a great job. This was Palate Home.